You've likely already seen that God of War Ragnarok trailer multiple times, right? Just like me. Well, it reveals a ton of extra details about the game that you might have missed, like brand new attacks, a more fleshed out shield, new enemies, and way more. First, some interesting tidbits that we learned after the reveal. The game will namely be in a single shot again, which is awesome. Really like that from the previous game. The release is still slated for 2022, and all the 9 realms will be in this game, so no more locked realms this time. And I think we already, of course, saw a brand new realm in the trailer. So let's dive in. Of course, if you are excited for God of War Ragnarok, then don't leave a like on the video. It would really help the channel out. And let's go. I started a brand new giveaway for God of War for the most expensive digital version. They will likely reveal at some point. You can already participate by clicking the link in the pinned comment if you want. And you have to be a subscriber of the channel as well if you want to participate. Good luck. I really like that the trailer starts with Atreus carrying a dead deer, showcasing some nice growth, as of course in the first game we had to help him kill a deer. And I would not be surprised if this is actually the start of the sequel, and that the first boss type encounter is against Freya instead of Baldur. Like, they were kind of following the same blueprint for the beginning. Also cool, as noted by Ibelin on Twitter, Freya now has elements from Baldur's outfit in her gear too. I also would not be surprised if the sword that Freya is using has a deeper meaning, seems very well designed, as we see in her character image. Like, we are starting with the blades and the axe already, so you would think that we at least get one completely new weapon throughout the adventure. Mjolnir seems like a safe bet if we are able to take that from Thor and wield it ourselves, but a one-handed sword would be pretty cool too. And speaking of weapons, shields seem to play a much bigger role in this game. In the first God of War, we of course only had the skins for our shield as part of pre-orders and special editions. And actually, after beating the game on the hardest difficulty, you got 2 very cool shields too, and then later when New Game Plus was added, you also got a special shield when you started that. We start the trailer with the regular Guardian shield you start the previous game with as well, but a little later in the trailer, we see Kratos not with a round shield anymore, but with shields in different shapes. Like another one here in this arena type fight. It's smaller but not a round shield. Very much implying that we are able to find new shields in the game and that they're likely not just skins. And going back to this shot, it seems that we're getting runic attacks for our shield too, as we see a crystal shine when we do this shield smash. And sure, we already had combat skills for the shield in God of War 2018, but nothing as crazy as this ability. So I totally think that shields will play a much bigger role this time around, next to the Leviathan Axe and the Blades of Chaos. Fun fact, by the way, is that Kratos has a rank 1 Leviathan Axe in the trailer and also a rank 1 blade. So I'm curious how they're going to explain that after having fully upgraded them in the previous game. Still, Kratos does already have some brand new moves with these familiar weapons. The big one, of course, being able to use the blades as a grappling hook, which is more a returning move, of course. Maybe it only works when you see these wide markings on a ledge. Seems to work that way, while we can likely launch ourselves to many enemies that we see. And of course, this attack kind of looks like the heavy runic attack, the Hyperion grapple from the previous game, and you see footage here from Power Picks. Only in Ragnarok we don't throw both blades at the same time, so maybe they changed the runic attack up, or it's now a regular combo instead. Another new, or actually changed up attack is right here, where Kratos charges up the blades for a smash on the ground. Sure, you can already charge up the ranged attack in the 2018 game, but not smash it down like this. Although you were able to do that with the heavy Tartarus Rage runic attack, where you follow up one smash with the other. So it seems like they combined the ranged attack and this runic attack in Ragnarok, which is pretty interesting. As for the Leviathan Axe, we likely see an improved or new version of the Fury of the Ice Troll, where you create this ice blast around you. Now looks more impactful in Ragnarok. And in the next shot, it seems that we see a vaster Leviathan's wake. Instead of having to charge up, Kratos now immediately throws the axe, which I think is a nice change. And then later, Kratos finishes the enemy off with an improved Executioner's Cleave, which you likely can do again by holding R2. Atreus has some new moves too. In this shot, he actually seems to shoot an enemy in the air. And One that was of course hard to miss was near the end of the trailer, where I used a new runic summon and rode a ram around to take on multiple enemies. And speaking of enemies, we saw quite a lot of new ones in the trailer, and Captain Cuba was able to interview Corey and Eric, and a link to that interview will be in the video description, and he asked about this. And there they mentioned that some characters that did not make it into the last game should now appear here, and that we will be quite impressed with all the enemies that end up in the finished game. We learned that the giant lizard-like enemies are called Draki, as noted on the PlayStation blog, and the centaur-like enemies are the Stalkers. And I wouldn't be surprised if these are hunting us already early on in the game, maybe sent by Freya, because this fight still seems to be in Midgard. So maybe at the start of the game we try to get to the realm travel room and already encounter a stalker, or maybe they only show up later on when we return to Midgard again. I love how we use these wolves to travel over the frozen lake of Nine, and Santa Monica confirms on Twitter that these wolves are called Specky and Svanna. So again, all the realms will be in Ragnarok, and the ones we've already been to in the 2018 game should be changed up, Eric also notes in the interview. Like, we see a way more frozen and winter Midgard, and we see some footage from Alfheim too with the dark elves, but also the light elves that seem to be angry with us, so maybe those were the repercussions of our actions in the first game. We did make a grave mistake, according to the elf we killed. And I think a lot of the trailer is in Svartalfheim, the realm of the dwarves, that was of course locked at first, but now we can explore it, and here we also see Brock and Sindri again, and also a new character called Durlin. It only got a way bigger workplace now, with also more things going on than just blacksmithing tools. So I'm curious if we can also talk, for example, to Durlin for different types of upgrades. We also got a look at the character art for Thor. You've likely already seen this, right? And so far we haven't really seen him in the game yet, because we only have this end of the game cutscene that we again see in the trailer. Not much has changed, by the way, compared to what we got in God of War 2018. And another important character will be Angrboda, we see of course at the end of the trailer. She's deeply tied to Loki in the Norse mythology. I'm sure they will change things up in Ragnarok, but I'm curious what her relationship with Kratos, with mostly Atreus of course, will end up being. But I think overall, a lot that we see in the trailer is from the first few hours of the game. They did show quite a lot, but with all the 9 realms being available, it likely means that the game is going to be massive, although I'm curious if they will change up Muspelheim and Niflheim a lot, or if those will just be those repeatable activities, but maybe way more fleshed out. When we know more, I will of course let you know here, so totally subscribe for more God of War Ragnarok videos. A like would really help me out, and check out our trailer reaction and initial impressions after watching the trailer for the first time by clicking on the screen. For now, I'll speak to you next time, and goodbye.